The invitation arrived like a joke that had taken 5 years too long to land. A glossy digital card, dripping with forced nostalgia, announcing a class reunion at a luxury hotel downtown. The kind of place with glass walls, white lights, and smiles that never quite reach the eyes. His name was there at the bottom of the guest list, almost as an afterthought, and the memory hit him instantly, not the classrooms or the exams, but the laughter that followed him down corridors, the chairs pulled away just before he could sit, the way silence fell whenever he tried to speak, heavy and intentional. Back then, he was the class loser, the one everyone agreed it was safe to mock. Now, as he stared at the screen in the quiet of his penthouse office, city lights flickering below like a different universe, something tightened in his chest, not anger, not pride, but a strange, old ache that never fully disappears. If you believe that every story hides a lesson somewhere beneath the surface, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Humanity Stories, because stories like this one are more real than we often admit. 5 years earlier, his world had been small and gray, measured in bus rides, second-hand clothes, and dreams he kept hidden because even dreaming felt embarrassing. He remembered studying late into the night, not because he was ambitious, but because it was the only place he felt invisible enough to exist. The arrogance of his classmates had been effortless, almost casual, as if confidence was something they were born wearing, while he had to earn the right just to breathe in the same room. When graduation came, no one noticed when he slipped away early, carrying nothing but a worn backpack and a quiet promise to himself that he would never beg to be seen again. Life after that was brutal and lonely, failures that drained his savings, nights spent questioning whether the world had already decided his value, but somewhere in that struggle, something sharp and unbreakable formed inside him. He learned, he built, he failed again, and then slowly, almost silently, success arrived. Not the loud kind, but the steady kind that compounds over time until one day you wake up and realize you are worth more than the people who once laughed at you ever imagined. The reunion night came dressed in gold and glass. The hotel lobby shimmered with wealth, and his reflection in the polished surfaces showed a man even he barely recognized, tailored suit, calm eyes, posture shaped by confidence rather than apology. Inside the hall, the energy was thick with nostalgia and performance. Old classmates laughed too loudly, bragged too easily, measuring their lives against one another in subtle, exhausting ways. Some recognized him after a second glance, their smiles tightening as they tried to place him, and then the realization landed. This was him, the one they had invited for entertainment, for a final laugh. They watched him carefully, waiting for awkwardness, for embarrassment, for proof that time had not been kind. What they didn't see was the quiet weight he carried, the boardroom decisions, the employees who depended on him, the numbers that placed his worth well beyond $100 million. He didn't announce it. He didn't need to. His presence alone began to unsettle the room, like a truth no one had prepared for. As the night unfolded, something unexpected happened. The mocking never fully arrived. Instead, there was hesitation, confusion, and an unspoken shift in power that no one could name. He moved through the space with ease, listening more than speaking, observing faces that once looked down on him now searching for validation in his eyes. He realized then that the victory he thought he wanted, public recognition, visible regret, felt strangely hollow. What mattered was subtler and heavier. He had survived the years they never thought about. He had grown in the silence where they assumed nothing could take root. And standing there, surrounded by people who once defined him, he felt something close to peace, not because he had proven them wrong, but because their opinions no longer had the strength to define him at all. Before this story ends, take a moment and comment below, have you ever been underestimated, only to surprise the world later in life? Near the end of the evening, as the lights dimmed and conversations softened, he stepped outside onto the terrace alone. The city stretched endlessly before him, alive and indifferent, and he breathed deeply, feeling the full distance between who he was and who he used to be. The reunion faded behind him, reduced to noise and memory. If this story made you feel something, hope, sadness, or quiet strength, let it move you to engage, because stories only truly live when they are shared.